The My Ford University podcast, episode 32. We're going to talk about learning super freaks, how to make self-education your superpower. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, colleagues, to My Ford University. I'm George Sloan, founder and dean, and this is a free podcast. I highly recommend that you think about signing up for it. Today's episode is all about becoming something most people aren't, a learning super freak. Now, before you get too caught up in the name, let me explain. You might remember in the movie The Rock, Nicolas Cage plays Stanley Goodspeed, a biochemist who says, "I'm a chemical super freak, actually." That line stuck with me, but in my world, I'm a learning super freak. And I think you should be too. Here's why. Over the last few years, I've completed dozens of courses, read books cover to cover, attended workshops, earned certifications, and consumed podcasts and white papers like popcorn. And I don't do it because someone told me to do it. I did it because I needed to. It really gets down to being and staying relevant and going and pushing and being on the cutting edge. Things change too fast. In this world, things are moving faster than ever. You used to have, a time when you could have knowledge and have it last you for a lifetime or last you for a couple decades. It's gotten to the point where you don't even get years out of certain things. You constantly have to be tweaking and upgrading and upskilling. Being a learning super freak isn't just a quirky thing to admire. It's survival. It's leverage, and it's a competitive edge. And in this episode, I'm going to show you what being a learning super freak really means, why it matters more now than ever, and how to build your own self-education system. Again, I'm not anti-education. I'm just not agreeing with traditional higher education anymore. And one more thing, I want to show you how to use it radically to transform your career, your business, or your life. So let's get into it. What is a learning super freak? A learning super freak isn't someone who just likes to learn. Lots of people say they enjoy learning. Few make it a way of life. A real learning super freak has nonstop curiosity, pursues new knowledge on purpose, applies what they learned right away. To me, that's the key to the whole thing. That's the cornerstone or the keystone of the arc. That's where it really matters. Apply what you learn right away. Also, build your own curriculum based on what you need right now or you're going to need a few weeks or months from now. Think in terms of bursts. Learns fast, builds fast, repeats often. I've mentioned this before. I will go through bursts where I'll burn through more books than usual, or I'll burn through more workshops, or I'll burn through more micro certifications. Simply because I get in an area where I want to make sure that I have a good foundational understanding, and in some cases, I want a deeper understanding. It's not about collecting certificates for bragging rights. Believe me, this is not a flex. It's about staying sharp, staying relevant, and staying in motion. It's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle. Okay, so let's talk about why you would want to be a learning super freak. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Anyway, let me hit you with a cold truth. The old model is dead. It's dead. The whole get a degree, get a job, coast till retirement script, it's done. And if you don't think it's done, you really need to re-examine that because it's as plain as day to a lot of people now. People are waking up. New tech, AI, automation, global disruption, it's all here and it's not going to slow down. If anything, it's accelerating. A college degree today, often 10 to 20 years behind what's actually needed in the workforce. I've talked about this before. A lot of different companies aren't even requiring degrees anymore. All they care about is what skills do you have, what problems can you solve, what outcomes and results can you produce. That's what they care about. The MBA curriculum that you might have dropped 6 figures on, parts of that are obsolete by the time you graduate. It is what it is. You got to learn on the go. That's the new normal, learning on the go. You can't wait. You need to build your own education machine, and you need to become your own university. You turn your brain into a startup, and you're constantly updating, constantly shipping, and constantly iterating, right? So let's talk about what a super freak really does. Again, they identify what they need and they go and get it as quickly as they can, and then they apply it as fast as they can. All right. So who needs this? Short answer, and you've heard me say this all the time when we talk about who needs it. Everyone needs it to some extent. The longer answer, anyone in a field that's changing, growing, or under threat. That means, and see if you're in one of these categories, some of you might be in more than one. Corporate professionals who want a promotion, entrepreneurs who wear 12 hats and need 12 skill sets, small business owners competing with AI, and global players. Who doesn't compete now with Amazon or something similar to it? Freelancers who are building from scratch, tradespeople who are adopting digital tools. I'm a big proponent of the trades. Highly recommend some of you consider that as an alternative. I'm also big on small business owners. You really should check into Mike Rowe from from the Dirty Jobs series, and he has his own thing going on now. And then Cody Sanchez, she does the non-sexy small business approach, businesses that are going to be around and produce nice cash flows and can be built. Finally, consultants trying to stay ahead of the curve. And here's the secret. If you're a functioning adult in the modern economy, you're already in this game. The only question is, are you leveling up or are you falling behind? Constantly need to be upgrading your tools. Constantly. Keeps you relevant, keeps you in the game. So, when and where can you learn this? Well, the learning super freak doesn't wait for the perfect conditions. We've talked about analysis paralysis. We've talked about the idea that you're ready. Just get started. You don't need perfect conditions. I have studied on lunch breaks, between meetings, on planes, on trains, in hotel beds, on walks while listening to podcasts. I do that all the time. I don't listen to music anymore. I've consumed hours of YouTube videos as podcasts when I'm walking because I try to do 10,000 steps a day. I've even done it when I'm standing in line somewhere or I'm waiting somewhere. You don't need a classroom. You need a commitment, a goal, and a willingness to use what you've got. Go with what you've got, where you are, and do what you can, and just move forward. So, in your pocket, you have this supercomputer, your iPhone or your smartphone. I think you should be using it for some of the ways I do it. YouTube tutorials, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Coursera, podcasts, Kindle books, PDFs, cheat sheets. And now I've given you myforduniversity.com. It's being built out. It's a great resource. If you've got Wi-Fi and a will, you can learn anything, anywhere, anytime. How do I do it? This is my favorite section all the time. How to do it. Here's my 5-step framework. Let me give it to you. It's my personal system and it works. Number 1, pick a target. What do you need to learn right now? Is it leadership, marketing, AI, sales, strategy? Pick one and focus and go for it. Go all in. In a matter of minutes, hours, maybe a day, you'll have enough to be a functioning individual and have an intelligent conversation and be able to ask the right questions. Step 2, build a micro curriculum. Don't just scroll and guess. Pick a course of action, read 1 or 2 great books, subscribe to a few sharp podcasts, join a group, download some templates, and make it a 2-week sprint. I do this all the time. I like doing weekend sprints personally, but I will do sprints where I'll do a weekend, or I'll say what I'm going to accomplish in a week, or I'll do a 30-day. I'm in the middle of a 60-day. I do 90 days. I try to keep it tight, though, because you want to learn it fast and apply it faster, remember? The other thing, step 3, you want to learn in layers. Start with big ideas, then get tactical. Then do it yourself. Do it ugly, do it imperfect, then you can refine it. I've talked about this all many times before. The way you learned how to walk, you didn't just jump up and start walking. You had to learn how to roll over. You had to learn how to lift yourself up. You had to learn how to get on all fours. You had to learn how to crawl. You then had to learn to lift yourself up by surfing the couch, surfing the table. You had support. And then you started to take a few awkward steps. Next, you started walking. Then you started running like a maniac and driving your parents crazy, right? So get started. Step 4, you want to apply it immediately. You want to learn it. You want to use it. You want to teach it. You want to share it. You want to build something. This turns knowledge into capabilities. That's one of the biggest foundations of what we have going here at Myford University. We want you to get the knowledge and skills and then apply it so that you have the abilities and then you can build upon it. The other thing I always talk about, think about trying to teach it to somebody else, because if you can teach it, you have to know it well enough to transmit the knowledge and abilities to someone else. So think about being a mentor, okay? Step number 5, reflect and iterate. Always be asking, what worked? What didn't? What should I double down on? What should I eliminate? Sometimes you got to get rid of stuff. Then you want to start the next sprint. The word sprint, if you're not familiar, you might, if you've been exposed to agile methodologies, there is a concept called Scrum. Sprints are a foundational part of the Scrum framework. I'll do a whole concept on it. I'm actually a Scrum.org PSM1, Professional Scrum Master 1, and a Professional Scrum Product Owner 1. And I do believe in quick iteration, which you get when you work in a group and you work in a Scrum environment. But I will go into it in greater detail. So getting back to it, I mean, this isn't necessarily a one-time thing. This is a cycle. It's an ongoing, continuous loop. It's a process that never ends. This is one of the habits that will change your life. Just, you got to follow through on it. I always think of myself not as just a project manager, but a process manager. And I define process a little different than most people. To me, projects are finite projects. There's a start and there's an end, and you may continue to iterate, but for the most part, there's a definite start and a definite end. A process, on the other hand, I think of that as an unending project. A process can always be improved. It should be continuously improved, and it's a more advanced project in the sense that it is a never-ending project. Think about that, and again, I'll do a full-blown concept on that. All right, let's talk about the ROI of Super Freak Learning, ROI being return on investment. What do you get for doing all of this? Well, here's some of the things that will probably come out of it. Confidence. There's nothing better than building confidence. I always talk about going from quick wins, low-hanging fruit, and stacking small wins up, and then you'll do some bigger wins because you start to get confidence. You will never feel behind, and you'll know how to catch up fast. You'll also get career acceleration. You will be seen as the go-to person. And if you don't have the answer, say, you know what, I'm not sure, let me check it, and I will get back to you. Don't forget that. I'm not sure, let me look into it, and I will get back to you. Very powerful tool. Promotions will come your way when you start to do that. Security. While others are becoming obsolete, you stay relevant and valuable. You're cutting edge. You're actually introducing certain things into the organization and saying, hey, look, we've been doing this, but there's a new thing coming down the pike, and I think it might be a better approach. Okay, progress addiction. You'll crave improvement and growth. As human beings, we all need a purpose, and we all want to improve and grow. We all want to get better. If not, then I don't know that I can help you. Maybe you're in the wrong place if you don't want to get better and be able to deliver more. You'll also have an identity shift. You're no longer someone with a job. You're someone with a system for learning, adapting, and thriving, all of which will help you solve problems and deliver positive results and outcomes. Okay, are you ready to be a super freak? If you've made it this far, let me say this. You're already different. You're already sensing the traditional education system is bloated, outdated, and overpriced, and you want more. I know it. And here's the beauty of this whole thing. You don't need a degree. You don't need permission. There's no GMATs and SATs and applications and writing silly essays. None of that. You just have to have the determination and the aspiration that this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. You don't need permission. You don't even need a 5-year plan. You need a problem to solve, a skill to build, and a mindset to make the shift. Then you can chase the thing like it owes you money. That's the way to think of it. Then you will get a laser beam focus, and you're going to be able to accomplish things you didn't know you could. And then it's going to leave you wanting more. All right. So let me give you some final thoughts. Normal people, and who the hell really wants to be normal? Who just wants to be normal? You want to be exceptional. Normal people say, I don't have time. I already went to school. They say, oh, school's out. Yeah, school's never out. I'll learn when I need it. Well, you probably needed it yesterday. Super freaks, on the other hand, they'll say things like, I make time. I'm always learning, and I'll learn it before I need it. Normal is safe, but safe is slow, and slow gets replaced. Super freak is fast. Super freak is focused, and super freak is the future. Be the future. Be a super freak. All right, I'm going to give you a little side note here. Again, it's not a flex, it's just the facts. Over the last 3 years, I have completed about 80 free corporate trainings, and some were mandatory, most were voluntary. I've completed over 3 dozen free micro certifications. I've done well over a dozen certifications with associated paid courses. I've read dozens of books and thousands of hours of videos and podcasts while commuting, exercising, and in lieu of TV viewing. I'm probably forgetting a few things, but I think you get the big picture here. I tend to layer my learning stacks to get additional leverage, and I apply learning immediately to maximize the value I receive and deliver as fast as possible. I'll do a separate article about all of this sometime in the future, and I'll share some of my hacks because I do have a few tricks to make some of this happen. And one of the interesting things is when you do what I call bursts and you're focused in a particular area, there's a lot of knowledge and skill overlap. That's a little clue to some of the hacks. So if you focus on a particular area, it pays to sometimes grab a few of those certifications at the same time because the foundational knowledge is similar. So there's a hint at what some of the hacks of doing this are. And again, I will do a full-blown article and develop that concept so you get a better understanding. Okay. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate that you spent some time with the My Ford University podcast. In this episode, I hope we lit a fire under you. And do me a favor, share it with someone who really needs to hear it. Please don't keep us a secret. We want like-minded individuals because, again, I've also said this before, some of the best ideas come from a group of people where each one has a little bit of a spark of an idea, and then one or more people put the whole thing together and create a more powerful idea. That gets back to the concept of synergy. So if you want to start your own 30-day learning sprint, visit myforduniversity.com and grab some of that free stuff that's up there. Maybe you want to focus on thinking skills and methods. Got quite a few up there. You want to work on some MBA models, frameworks, processes. That's there. Pick something and start working on it. So until next time, learn it fast, apply it faster, and be relentless. Be a super freak. Thank you.